What's up, everybody? How's it going? Austin Practical, Practical Elevate Performance, coming at you live. It's Friday again. Somehow it's Friday again. What the heck? This week is going by so damn fast. It's not even funny. Let me get a sip of that coffee. Keep me going. Today I'm going to be talking about something that's interesting that I think a lot of people have questions about, and a lot of people honestly don't know a whole lot about, and they just sometimes, some people don't even know this exists, and some people just know the buzzword itself. And what I'm talking about today is reverse dieting, and the concept of it, what it actually is, and why it might be a useful tool for you to try and use, in your weight loss journey. And also, why you might need one, why you might need to do one, because there's a lot of people out there that definitely need to do one, and there's been several clients that I've worked with, coming into my program where it's like, all right, well, you need to really freaking reverse diet so that way we can fix shit. So let me just kind of talk a little bit about this. So, what is reverse dieting? So let me kind of explain, the theory behind reverse dieting, what it is, and all that good stuff. So, what dieting is. So dieting typically, what people think of is, eating less food, trying to lose weight, lose body fat, whatever. And how that's done, if you don't know, is like dieting, whether you follow like a fad diet that has you following general guidelines, or you're like actually tracking your calories and macros. It's because where you're at right now, whoever's watching this right now, where you're at based on your age, height, current weight, genetics, level of activity, male, female, all that shit, all those factors combined determines what your personal maintenance calories are. So, I'm going to say this again, like all those things considered, if you lose a pound, that technically shifts and that changes. Your maintenance calories change. Where you're at right now, you can eat a specific amount of calories based on all that shit that I just talked about and listed off, and you will not gain or lose weight. Okay? If you go above that, caloric surplus, you gain weight. If you go below that, caloric deficit, you lose weight. And oftentimes, what happens is that, over time, you're, dieting for a specific period of time, you're trying to lose weight, and what happens is you plateau, or you run into, you run out of calories that you can, like survive on basically, or that you don't feel super shitty consuming under a certain amount. And so, that's, basically that's what dieting is. Dieting is, I got kind of sidetracked. Dieting is basically, being in a caloric deficit, whether or not you're following rules that put you in one, like fad diets do, or tracking your calories and macros. That's how people lose weight. It's the only way that you can lose weight is by being in a caloric deficit. Lose like good weight, not actually like water and shit. But that's besides the point. So that's what dieting is, losing weight from being in a caloric deficit. Reverse dieting is basically, after a certain point in time, if you're dieting for like if you're dieting super hard, and this goes out to like, men and women, but oftentimes it's a lot of it happens with women, is you're, starving yourself, you're going way under and under consuming on calories in an attempt to like, lose a lot of weight really fast. And you're, doing a shit ton of cardio, you're doing tons and tons of cardio like every day. And, really putting yourself, in a very high stress, like burnout route when it comes to trying to lose weight. And what happens is that over time, your body adapts. Your metabolism is not this like straight line stagnant thing that like just is the way it is at all times. And it's not one of those things that that just stays the same. Like your metabolism changes, it fluctuates, it ebbs and flows. It's not like static. Okay, your metabolism will change based on all those factors I just talked about, like your age, like your own personal genetics, your weight, your height, whether you're male or female, how active you are, how much food you're actually consuming like throughout the day. And what happens is over time, especially if you're going that burnout route when it comes to trying to lose weight, your metabolism adapts. Think of it this way, like your body doesn't give two shits about you wanting to lose weight. It just cares about one thing, and that's surviving and probably reproducing, but whatever. And so, you know, surviving, so that way it can, you know, live for as long as it is possible. So your body does not care. Your body, when you're trying to lose weight, that's just controlled starvation. That's literally all losing weight is. That's what dieting is. It's controlled starvation. And the name of the game is to try and, you know, control that starvation to where it's, you know, sustainable, maintainable, and not going to stress you out so much that you quit. And so when it comes to, you know, reverse dieting, and so basically, you know, after you do that for a certain period of time, like your body wants to survive, your body wants to live. And so your metabolism adapts to that. It adjusts. And so oftentimes people are like, I just have a broken metabolism. Either one, like they're just saying that and they don't necessarily understand the processes behind it. Or what they mean by that is that they've been like doing this like crazy, like, you know, like burnout route kind of style of losing weight. And what happens is your metabolism adapts to being in a low caloric intake. So what it'll do is it'll try to hold on to as much of, you know, it wants to survive. So it's going to hold on to, you know, as much weight as possible. And so what happens is that happens when you go that burnout route and you do a shit ton of cardio, you're starving yourself, you're consuming like, you know, less than 1,500 calories. Like if you're like under like 5 feet tall, like that's not wildly like bad, but like, you know, if you're consuming like 1,200 calories or less, you know, that's a good rule of thumb that you should not be doing that. And this here's the caveat though. You're probably fine, and this is where it's kind of based on an individual by individual basis. You're probably fine if you know, only do it for like a couple of weeks. Some people might not be. Other people, they can do it for, you know, months probably and not have any issues. But some people, and a lot of people, what happens is their metabolism will adapt to that low caloric intake and high amount of cardio. And that just makes it way fucking harder for yourself to lose weight in the long run. And so people are going for this like, you know, really short term, like fast weight loss, like, you know, like method of losing weight, which one isn't sustainable. So they oftentimes quit and then gain it all back. And two, you're setting yourself up to make it even harder for you to lose weight in the future, because you're making your metabolism like really, really like, you know, difficult to cooperate with when it comes to losing weight. And so a long story, long roundabout way to get to this, but I wanted to give a lot of good background on this so that way it all makes sense. That's when a reverse diet comes into play. A reverse diet is basically controlled, like controlled adding of calories and food, like food to your, like, you know, nutrition plan that allows you to slowly increase. One, it allows you to slowly increase your metabolism so that way it can slowly adapt to a higher caloric amount without gaining a ton of weight. Because if you just go from eating 1,200 calories to all of a sudden consuming 2,400 calories, you're going to put on a lot of weight. You're just going to put on a ton of weight because your body hasn't adapted to it or readjusted to that high caloric intake. So what happens is you're going to put on a shit ton of weight and you're not going to be happy and all that good stuff. So what reverse dieting typically looks like is, you know, slowly over time, you increase your caloric intake like on a weekly basis, and also slowly start to cut out, you know, your cardio. Not have to be entirely, but instead of doing like 45 minutes a day like some people do, you know, cut your cardio kind of in half for the first week, and then the week after that, and then it's different for everybody, but slowly over time, decreasing cardio, increasing calories, while, you know, and doing that slow enough over time that, you know, you basically minimize the amount of weight that you will gain during that period of time. You will probably gain a little bit of weight. Some people, though, lose weight when they reverse diet. Other people stay the same. And it's one of those things where it's, again, on a person-by-person basis. But reverse dieting is fucking awesome because, you know, if you're consuming like 1,200 calories right now and you feel like shit and you're doing a ton of cardio and you want to maintain where you're at right now, but you've run out of and you've plateaued because you've run out of calories like that you can like cut without like being nutrient deficient and your hair falling out and like screwing up your hormones, you can slowly increase your calories over time, because that's what it comes down to. Is like that's what happens when people try to lose, like they try to take the starvation shortcut high cardio route. Wherever your maintenance calories should be and like the bottom line of amount of calories that you should be consuming, that's wiggle room that you have to lose weight before your metabolism adapts to that low amount of calories. So what you want to do in the point of a reverse diet is to increase your wiggle room that you have, so that way you can start back off at that top level and slowly decrease your calories over time. And so that's how it kind of works. And that's how reverse dieting works, is getting you to a high enough caloric intake so that you have room for wiggle room again to lose weight, so you stop plateauing. And it's just good for your metabolism. It's good for your, like, and these are the reasons why, like, I think that reverse dieting is like super fucking important. Is one, it helps fix the it helps reset your metabolism in a sense to like readapt to a higher caloric intake. So one, you could eat a lot more food. You're going to feel a hell of a lot better. Two, your body needs a break sometimes. Just like people sometimes need a break from the gym, your body and your metabolism, things like that, will benefit from going on a reverse diet. Three, the other thing too is mental break. Like, so many people, they diet, and this is why people quit so much, is because they get burnt out and they feel like they're like starving. They're tired all the time. They don't have any energy. And so like having like a mental break and reverse dieting and having some sort of maintenance phase for yourself is so good and helpful for your mental that you're way more likely to adhere, and it makes it a lot more sustainable for you. And so, you know, honestly, like that's like the gist of reverse dieting. And that's why it's so important. And that's why I think it's so important for a lot of women out there to, like, if you're listening to this, like, and you've been going that burnout route and you're like fucking starving yourself, and you're doing a shit ton of cardio, and you're not losing any weight, that's probably why. It's because your metabolism has adapted to what you're doing right now, and you need to give it a break. You need to reverse diet. And oftentimes my rule of thumb, and again, it's dependent on the person because everybody's different. Some people can reverse diet for like a couple of weeks to a month and they're all hunky-dory and they can go a lot faster with the reverse diet. Other people, if you've been doing that burnout route for like months, if you've been doing it for like, you know, shit, like, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months straight, and you're doing that, a general rule of thumb is sometimes it will take that long to reverse diet you properly. Sometimes you know, the amount of time you've been fucking yourself over, you have to take that same amount of time to unfuck yourself over. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to hear, like, you know, I've been doing this whole time and now I have to like now I have to slowly eat more food in order to fix myself so that way I can actually start to lose weight. Yeah, sometimes, like, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that that's not the case, because that is the case for some people. Like, I've had people come to me where they were going that burnout route for like 3 months straight. It took 3 months for me to get there, but to reverse diet them. They were a hell of a lot happier that it happened, because they were able to eat a lot more food. 2, it made it a lot more sustainable for them. And 3, now they're actually able to see progress and they have that wiggle room, and they got past that plateau because of it. But that's sometimes what it's going to take, and that's what happens. If you're, you know, taking shortcuts, you're going to burn yourself, and you're going to burn yourself sometimes when that happens. And so, you know, I'm just here to tell you that. And some people, like, they could reverse diet for a month and they'll be fine. Like, you know, a general good rule of thumb, if you're going to reverse diet, is just add like anywhere from like 50 to 100 calories over, you know, an extended period of time each week, and, you know, see how that goes and drop your cardio and things like that. And so, yeah, so if you're somebody who is like struggling right now with that, and you're like, shit, like my metabolism's broken, or you're like, you're going that burnout route and you just don't know what to do, reverse diet. That's going to be what you need to do. And if you don't know how to do it, like, reach out to me and let me know, and, you know, maybe I can try and help you out. I do reverse dieting for like most of my clients at some point, because depending on how, you know, large of a goal they have, we need to increase their wiggle room, or depending on, you know, if they're ready to start bulking, there's a maintenance period that you need to go through, and all that good stuff. But that's, you know, probably a little bit too much for this live. So that's my live for today. That's about all you need to really know about reverse dieting, how to do it, what it's used for, why you should be doing it, you know, at some point in your fitness journey, because it's going to save your ass and it's going to make weight loss a hell of a lot less difficult for you. And, you know, and it's good for you too. So that's my life for today, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope that you got some value from this. I hope that this helped somebody. If you're watching this at a later time, hit me with the hashtag replay. let me know that you saw it. And it honestly, and actually, if you're watching this and you're like, wow, that was really informational, and like, you know, I think so and so would benefit from that, or like a family member or a friend would benefit from this, or you know, future lives of mine, tag them in the comments. Like, tag them in the comments, be like, hey, like, check this out or whatever. Like, just because you know, it might help them out, might you know, change their life. Who knows? And so, anyways, let me know what your number one takeaway was in the comments down below. That's my live for today. Hope you guys have a beautiful fucking weekend. I'm going to have a great one. And I'll talk to you on Monday.